Welcome to the exclusive media session with PLDT and Ookla. My name is Shaskalil Calao and I'll be your host for today. And of course, I have to begin with thanking you, our friends from the media, for joining us right here tonight as we celebrate PLDT as the undisputed telco leader in the Philippines. And more than that, PLDT is going to make history for the Philippines as the first telco provider to win the Ookla Speed Test Awards for the 5th year in a row. And this is only one of 2 telco providers to achieve this feat in Southeast Asia. And I'm sure you guys are excited and I'm sure you have a lot of questions. Before we move on to the Q&A, allow me to introduce the leaders from PLDT and Ookla who are joining us here tonight. First up, PLDT Senior Vice President and Head of Consumer Home Business, Jeremiah De La Cruz.
Good evening, everyone.
PLDT First Vice President and Head of Enterprise and International Business Groups, Albert Mitchell Locsin. Network Head of PLDT and Smart, Roderick Santiago.
Good evening.
Ookla Chief Technology Officer, Luke Derricks.
Hi, good evening.
And Ookla Senior Vice President and Global Head of Sales, Kuljit Randawa.
Hello, everyone.
All right, and good afternoon. Well, it's evening now. We are getting ready for the party later on. But first off, a huge congratulations to the PLDT group for this historic win. But before we talk about the big news, I'm sure our friends from the media are also curious to know a little bit more about our guests who flew all the way from Seattle. Luke and Kuljit, I'm sure lots of business meetings, lots of things to do for work while you're out here. But if there is anything that you would like to do for fun, if there is time, what would it be? So, Sir Jeremiah, never can take her.
Well, I will say one thing. Ookla is quite a globally distributed business. I flew in from the Seattle area. Kuljit actually came all the way from London. So we're coming from opposite corners of the world to be here with you today. But, I have a short time here. I would really love to see the surrounding area a little bit more. I think, frankly, I'm just going to be here in Makati and just nearby, and I'd really like to get out of the city a little bit and see more of the Philippines while I'm here.
Yes, same. I'm normally here for a very short time. This time I might have a little bit of time, maybe see a museum or the local landing area or two.
Any destination in the Philippines that Kuljit and Luke should see?
That's a tough one. Eric gets to get around everywhere because obviously he runs our network, which is all over the country. So maybe Eric has some hot tips.
I think definitely go to Palawan, El Nido, Amanpulo area. That's really good.
Well, for me, I actually encourage them to go for a drive, right? Sometimes when you go to the destinations, you don't get a feel for the real country, right? Because it's always the best foot forward. And I think there's really the best chance to get to see the Philippines is when you go for a drive through Old Manila or you go for a drive through Quezon City. Some of it is a bit tricky. You experience the traffic. That can be frustrating. But that is all part of Manila life, right? That's all part of the Philippines, the smells, and the excitement, the buzz in the air. So I definitely say you're in the right spot. Manila is the exciting part of the Philippines. Get out there and enjoy it.
Sir Mitch, do you have any suggestions?
Well, just to add, of course, we're famous for the beaches, right? The beach and Boracay to Palawan, various resorts that you can go to. Culture, you can go to Intramuros, which is just an hour drive away, we hope. And but Filipinos are very famous for 3 things I told you, right? So the first one really is we love to eat. So a lot of good restaurants around here. Second is we love to shop. So you see the biggest malls in every corner, shopping malls. And the third is we love to travel. So we travel a lot, go on vacation, food trips and all that. So yeah. So maybe you should visit the malls, get lost for a while.
So you like that? They mixed in number 1 and number 3. It's food trips, right? It's food and the trips at the same time. So.
All right.
Good tips.
Thank you so much to our gentlemen. And now I know our friends from the media have some questions. The floor is open. Please raise your hand and introduce yourself before asking your question. Yes.
Hi, I'm Mark Macanas from TECHPINAS.com. I just want to ask our friends from PLDT. Of course, this is a tremendous achievement to win that award for 5 years straight. But I just want to ask how PLDT was able to accomplish this. Can you talk more about the perhaps the innovations or the changes that you were able to implement in the company to get this achievement, this accomplishment?
All right. Well, good evening. Thank you for the questions. So, we have consistently increased our speed score for the past 5 years. And to your point, it is challenging, but we made it, right? And it's because we are continuously expanding our footprint. We are continuously innovating in a way on how to deliver the services to our customers. And I think that's the key. We need to keep doing that. We need to have that mindset to be able to fully support the different use cases and the needs of our customers moving forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I might add to that, really, there's been a lot of work, blood, sweat and tears, maybe you could say, in being able to achieve something like this. It's required the whole business to be focused on our customers. We focused really in 3 key areas in order to deliver this. Number 1, expanding our network. So we've actually invested quite a lot of money and effort into expanding our network into more parts of the Philippines to make sure more and more Filipinos can experience the fastest broadband in the country. Number 2, for our existing customers, we've ensured that we've continued to remain focused so that their service continues to improve in their speed. And it's something that you would have noticed during the pandemic when everyone was at home, right? More people were online at the same time than ever before.
Yes.
And what you would have expected is a slowdown in your service, right? But with all of that focus from our network team and everyone else supporting our network team at PLDT, we not only sustained the speed and the service we're able to give, but we're actually able to improve it, right? So we actually saw an improvement, and you can see that in the speed scores actually published on Ookla's website. You can see that the speed in the Philippines for broadband has actually continued to increase over time, and that's something that we look to continue, right? The third area is really around customer experience, right? Because you can expand your network and you can try to make it as fast as you possibly can, but what's really most important for our customers is the overall experience, right? Speed is one thing, but it's really to ensure that when you have a need, when you have a problem, or when you want to make sure that when you have a need, when you have a problem, you want to make sure that consistency is there. Being able to get that support from PLDT and being able to restore services, ensuring that we actually, when we do provide you with a speed, that speed is consistently delivered for you and your household, right? So there's actually quite a lot of effort that's gone into this. It's in those 3 areas that I mentioned. 1, expanding our network. Number 2, making sure we continue to build on the experience that we provide. And number 3, it's the overall experience that we want to give to our customers that goes beyond speed.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah.
I'll add to that.
Yes, sir.
So I'll try to add to what both my colleagues mentioned. So there's a lot of components to it. So number 1, we constantly or purposely or intentionally add more submarine cables. We have 4 right now in PLDT, and the submarine cables allows us basically to have the capacity or your internet to traverse around the world on no matter what you're looking at in the internet, right? So it adds to that, not only for mobile, for the homes, especially for the enterprises, right? Because we serve so many industries. The second is really the domestic fiber optic network that Eric builds in the country. Basically, that consists, if I'm not mistaken, of 800,000 plus kilometers of footprint in the Philippines alone, the domestic backbone. We're quite unique compared to the other telcos in the Philippines because we have loops within the loops that traverses. I think there's now 16 loops within the loops that traverses in the whole Philippines, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, so that if there's a fiber cut here, you still have traverse to the other side. And the last one basically is the last mile going to your homes. And that's what we've been constantly doing, is from the old legacy network that we used to have, migrating it to complete fiber up to the modems up to your homes, right? And that basically then provides the quality, the fastest speed that that we are testing to today and the quality. So we brag about the quality, and definitely that's something that we're very proud of. And again, as they mentioned, it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of money to make all of that happen. So there's a lot of investment in time and money to get all of these awards from a famous third-party organization like Ookla that we're doing here today.
Just as a follow-up question, sir, since you mentioned about the upgrades, how's it going, sir? Can you talk more about
Upgrades
status from the legacy networks?
Oh yes, so maybe Eric can talk more about it, but we've been migrating basically majority of our copper. I think for the last 3 years, I believe, we've been migrating all of our copper facilities to fiber because you have to have a new network.
Yeah, I think aside from the copper to fiber migration, we are continuously upgrading the resiliency of the network, right? I think to the point of Bro Mitch here, we know where they're usually the areas being hit by calamities and disasters. So we put more focus on the resiliency in those areas, right? And then at the same time, we are continuously optimizing to ensure that there's no congestion in areas where we have high utilization from the customer. Right? So those are the two items: continuously optimizing it, creating resiliency on top of the fiber migration, are the typical upgrades that we do on a regular basis to maintain the operational excellence that we would like to provide to our customers.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.